Hello and welcome back to my survival world. Last episode we did some good progress. We made these super cool looking trees and a hidden staircase, and as well I got some other jobs done, such as getting an enchanting table, so we are nice and protected now, which is good. Start of this episode, as you saw, I built up this lovely staircase, which is going to make getting up and down this mountain much easier. So since last time we have installed a couple mods onto this world. As you can see, the clouds look a bit fancier now. And as well, we've got a little bit of, we got a little bit of cheaty cam. Everyone seems to be using this these days on YouTube especially, so I figured it's fair game, as long as I'm not using it for cheaty things. But look, suddenly you can appreciate the builds are doing a lot better and it's a better look, and you can look at the staircase we've done, for example. And yeah, everyone seems to be using it, so I figure it's fair game. But moving on from that, as you can see, at the start of the episode, we have built up this lovely little staircase. And this has, oh, it's so good. It just makes getting up and down this cliff so much easier. So as you can see, we've come over to the village, and that's because today we are setting up here for our second project. So with this village, we're going to go into free camp, we're going to go into a little bit cheaty camp, and we can start having a look at this little village that I want to do a transformation on. I want to transform all the village, turn in the buildings into my own designs, and then have a villager set up, a breeder and stuff like that, and make this village very functional and also very pretty, because at the moment it is not. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to head over to Photoshop, and we're going to start playing around with how we want to lay out this village, because I've got a few ideas of what we can do. So I think one of the most important things we're going to be able to do here is to change this river shape. So I think instead of where it's going at the moment, we're going to use a line around more so like that and kind of like that. And we can have some docks over by these houses over the river. And what this will allow us to do is have an island in the middle with a few houses on, so we can preserve that sort of feature we've got there. Alongside the houses, we'll have a few bridges going towards the islands like that. So it's an easy way for us to get down the mountain onto the island and across to the village. Might even do another couple of bridges upstream, something like that, maybe even downstream as well. And with the houses, we do want to move them around. So this one's going to go somewhere like that. This one, I think, maybe as well to the other side of the road. Might build a new house over here. We'll have a path come through this way towards the crops and stuff. So maybe we could have some more houses along there and along here. Have a barnyard sort of building here, like that. Maybe some more houses around this area. This is kind of the plan. It's only going to be a small village, but I think there's a lot of scope to work with this, and I really like the idea of having that island in the middle. I think that's super fun. But yeah, this is sort of a very rough plan that we've got so far. So we've got to go and turn this now into something real on Minecraft. Before we do start our project down the village, however, there are a couple of small jobs I want to get done first. The first thing, as you can see in my hand, got some saddle and diamond horse armor. I think it'd be quite a smart idea to get a horse so it can make it quite easy to get up and down towards the village, to my starter base, to my stuff, without wasting and burning a load of food. So I think that's a smart idea, so I think that's the first thing we're going to tackle today. Hello horse, I claim you as my new friend, because you feel pretty quick. Alright, the second job of today is I want to have a small path linking up the house to the staircase there. So I think we're just going to do stone path, something like this, lots of little details. Okay, so I finished up this little path, super simple, very kind of like rough almost, using these paving stone sort of techniques. Some fun blocks in there, including the polished andesite trapdoors, which are a little bit annoying. They do make a noise when you walk over them, but that's okay, we can get used to that. Worst comes to worst, we'll just walk slightly around it if it's getting too annoying. And then little buttons to act like little stones. And yeah, it's a really nice little path, and I think it works really nicely for the kind of understated sort of vibe we got here. I think it's got quite a nice little shape, bending round towards those steps. I could have made it a little bit more efficient and put it through the middle there maybe, but I think that wouldn't have been as nice for shape. This is a little bit longer way round, but I think that's fine. We still have some work to do up here. I want to do some more trees on this side of the path now that we've got it in, and get rid of these sheep, move them down to the village, I think, which will be easier now that we've got these steps. But now that we've got both those too many tasks done, we can start focusing on the village. So I think the first task that we should probably focus on is working out where this river is going to go, because that's going to dictate everything else really. So we do want to have this island, but I'm going to shrink it down and maybe have the river run through this sort of area. So that will take just a little bit of terraforming, and I think that's a good place to start. Then work the other side, work out where we want to go, how wide the river's going to be, because that's going to be an important thing, because that's going to be the the main kind of focus of this village is going to have this river running through it. That's going to be where we're going to have industry coming from, maybe some docks and stuff like that, maybe some boats in the water would be super cool, but we need to sort out this river first. So let's get started with just digging out a little trench along here and working out where this river's going to go. Okay, so now I've widened the channel and sorted out this river. Hopefully those time lapses are quite satisfying, but we've got like a nice wide channel here. The one problem is we've got something blocking the way. This house is kind of in the way, so we're going to have to chop this down. Okay, so now that house is gone, we can work out a bit more where we want this channel to come through, and I'll show you my process down on the floor a bit more. So using FreeCam quite a bit, because it's a super useful tool for doing something like this where you need to cut out from far. So we're just going to round this bit off here a little bit. We're not going to do the most steep curve, and then we're going to fill in some blocks there, I reckon, and fill it round to there. And that's the sort of shape we want to do. We're going to start just by picking a spot, getting a feel for the curve we want to do, and just going in. I don't love this bit here, so I'm just going to take away a few more blocks. Something like that. And there we go, that shape should be better. We're going to have a look at it. And yeah, maybe that shape's a little bit too much of a straight line. So we might take some blocks out and adjust it a little bit more actually. Yeah, that shape's a bit better, I think. Start placing some blocks here, and this will work out where we want this river to go. Reach the other side, take out a few more blocks over here to get it to line up nicely and have a nice little bend on it. And we'll go back to FreeCam, check it out. I think that's quite a nice little curve. I do want to take away a bit more on that side, make that curve around a bit rather than going out as it does at the moment. So we'll change that as well in a moment. Okay, so I've finished sorting out this river. I think we're happy with the general shape of it so far for the bits that matter. Smoothed out that bit, smoothed out that bit. Now it's looking like quite a continuous, natural sort of flow through there. So next job is to alter this island. So I think we're going to keep the island on that side of the river. I think that makes sense. That way we can have a bigger bridge coming over here and boats closer onto this side of the river, so we can have a dock along here. I think that's the smarter thing to do. So we need to start working out what shape we want to do. I think about, to be fair, actually up to there is about as wide as I want it to go. So it's only going to be thin. I think I'm going to make it a bit longer though. So we're going to have to clear out this island here and start placing blocks down. So this should be a decent little project on its own. Transforming a village, except it's all terraforming so far. We'll get to the houses soon, don't worry. Right, so now we've built up this island. I think this is the perfect sort of size, and it kind of captures what was there before, so I'm really happy with that. Still waiting for the grass to grow over it, and I could make a few tweaks to it. But the next project, what we need to do next is I want to get a bridge going over there. I think the best way to do that is going to be a stone bridge with a few supports in the middle. I think that could look really cool. And then we also want to do a bridge on the other side. I think over there somewhere would be good, and that will link us all the way up the path there. So stone bridge, that's the next agenda. Okay, so for this bridge, I've just started off by laying down a super simple, just dirt shape, just so we can work out how it's going to come across. And I think we've got this shape pretty spot on first time. Happy with this. It's maybe a little bit tall, but I think that's okay. But I can see the sun setting, and that marks quite an important milestone for this world, because it is currently day 99. So when that sun sets, we go to bed, it'll be day 100. Hey, there we go. Day 100. Yay, let's go. But moving back over to the bridge, just going to start to trace out this shape with the cobblestone, and then we can start making changes to it and then change the block palette on it. I'm going to play around with the bridge design, and I think this is the shape we're going to go for. It looks a little bit blocky at the moment, but I think once we add on some detail and a little bit more depth, I think it should be alright. But I think the shape is there. You've got a nice curve round, and it'll be big enough to be noticeable. And you've got these little gaps through the middle, which boats can pass through and such like that. So I think this should work out quite nicely for what we want. Now I've copied over this design over to the other side, and you can see this time now that we know the shape, I've actually used a few more bricks that aren't just cobblestone, and it looks way better. So yeah, I'm happy with that. So we're going to go over back onto this side, change the blocks up, and then we can start working on having a middle bit and filling in these tunnels between the two, and it will start to look suddenly very complete, which will be nice. And there we go. That's the bridge fully done. I think at the moment it looks maybe a little bit out of scale. It's a little bit bigger than everything else we've got, but when we build up the houses, I think that'll be fine. But yeah, I think the shape's pretty good. Very sort of rustic medieval sort of theme, very solid looking, and yeah, I'm super happy with it. And then I think we'll do another bridge over here, maybe diagonally, maybe try and challenge ourselves like that.
So now I've built up the second bridge, and for the moment, this is all the bridges we're going to do. Maybe in the future we might do another bridge a bit further downstream. But yeah, I've made a little change to this bridge. I put some walls in there just to help round out that shape a bit, which I think is subtle, but I think it helps. So now the next task is to start clearing out all of this clutter in the village.
Okay, so now I have completely removed this village, and it is weird. It is very weird. All the villages, they're free-range villages now. But it's time to start planning out where we're going to put stuff. It's time to start working out where we want buildings to be. And I think it's going to be important to use the images of the village report and kind of base it around that. One thing I have kept is the hole for the well, because I kind of want to keep that perfectly intact. I think that would be quite fun. Maybe we'll put a well or a fountain or something here. I think that could be quite fun. There we go. That's just a basic, very basic laydown of some of the houses I want to have in this area. For the moment, I've run out of moss, so there's going to be more houses, but I think for the moment, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 houses. I think this will generally do what we want them to do. I want to start by building up this main house, and that is because my tools are not doing great. They're all quite low, so I am desperate to get a villager breeder going and getting mending. So we're going to first focus on doing that building there, and that will give us the space to have a villager breeder going so we can start getting mending, which is hugely important for what we want to do. Okay, and I've finished building up this first house. This is quite a decent design. I think I used one very similar to this in my 100 houses in 100 days video, using this fun texture of stone on the base, white at the top, then using a lot of trapdoors, signs, stuff like that, just to add a load of detail in. And yeah, I'm really happy with it. I really like the windows, using the trapdoors and the windows, especially the combination of different colours. But yeah, I've also started to flesh out the interior. And as you can see down there are some villagers. That's because we have a little villager breeder up here. So this is going to sort us out. This is going to supply us with all the villagers we're ever going to need, which is perfect. Haven't really done the interior of the top yet, but there's only so much you can do with a space like this. We do have a couple doors out to a nice balcony here, which will give us a great view. But then going on downstairs, which is where we've got the main interior, come in through the doors. To your right, you've got the ladder upstairs, a little area there. You've got your villager storage, and then over to this side, fairly simple interior, but it should be super functional for what we need. We've got a brewing stand here for crafting potions. Over there, we've got water for doing the potions again. Over here, we've got our zombie transformation zone. So what we do, press the button, the minecart. I'm not going to do it right now, because I don't have the resources to convert him back, but press the minecart, shoot him up onto there. He'll get attacked by the zombie, who I managed to catch without killing the entire village, which was quite good going. They'll come up through there. So once the zombie turns it into a zombie village, press the button, he'll go up to here. Once here, he'll wait for you to throw a Splash Potion of Weakness and Golden Apple, and that'll cure him. And then I haven't quite got to it yet, but then we'll shoot him off down into here, and this will be a pit down underground, and then we can send all of the villagers to the various houses that they need to go to underground. So that's the first house we've done. I'm really happy with it. I think it works really nicely. I think the scale's just about right. And yeah, so now we're going to move on and build another couple of houses here and here next to each other. This one here is going to be a library. I don't know what this one's going to be yet, but I've got the builds planned out, so I know what they're going to look like. I just don't quite know the uses yet. But yeah, let's crack on with those. So now we've got our second and third houses constructed in the village, and it's starting to feel a bit more village-like, which is good. So the two houses we've built here, I've decided this one's going to be a library, and this one's just where we're going to store stuff and have our bed and stuff like that. So as you can see, they're quite detailed. The texturing on the bottom is quite interesting, going from dirt, mud, jungle wood, oak wood, and it's got some fun shapes, trying to create these windows that kind of like stick out a bit. Up the top, it's a bit more simple, just sandstone. But then we've got a fun detail with the acacia gates, which add a nice little bit of extra colour. Over on the side, a bit less detailed, continuing that texture on the bottom with some more windows as we got there, and then using the looms, they've got quite a fun texture to break it up and then have a different colour in the ceiling kind of area. In terms of the interior, not fully fleshed out yet because we're going to start putting villagers in here, but we'll get to that in a moment. We do have plenty of space in here, so we should be able to fit a lot of villagers in. Also, once we get villagers in, then I can get a more reliable source of bookshelves, which will be good to help decorate the inside. Third building, on the other hand, we've kind of focused around having this tower in the middle, and then along the sides, a bit more house structure. And I think this has come out really nicely. There's plenty of detail again, using the lecterns, that's a fun trick. And a bit of cherry wood in there as well, just to help add a bit of interest, a bit of extra colour. Got this colour copper, which I've not got honeycombed yet, so it does turn a bit bluer every once in a while, but I'll just keep on top of that for the moment. Using the gates as well, that's a nice little detail. I love using that at the moment. And on the inside, we've kind of done the ceiling, that's about it. Still got our chest sticking through a wall, so yeah, we need to sort it out, but I'm just putting that off at the moment because that's going to involve organising chests down there. Up the top, another roof. This one's quite a nice area up here. Got our double bed, and I might decorate this more like a bedroom. But yeah, that's both these houses done. Happy with how they turn out, and I think they add to the village vibe quite nicely. They're both different enough from the first house and from each other, so it creates a bit of variety in the village, and I think that's a nice feature. However, what we are next focusing on is moving villagers from over here all the way to the library. And how are we going to do that? Well, what we could do is run a railway track outside the buildings and into the front. But that would only be very temporary and would be kind of a nuisance to lay out and have to deal with. So instead, what I've got is a little tunnel system. So the idea is you shoot the villagers off from the top there, they land down here, and they go along here through this tunnel to wherever the building they're supposed to go. So how do I determine what building they're going to? That's where this system is going to come in. So at the moment, I just know I'm going to have a library and a farmhouse in. So if you want the villagers to go to a library, click the lever and that'll change the track and send them on course to go to the library. Once they come down this track, the idea is that the slime block launcher is going to shoot them up into there, punch them across, and they'll land in the library, and it should be a super cool system. However, that's going to be quite complicated redstone, so I've got to go figure something out to make this work. So we've jumped over to my creative world, my creative testing world, and I've been playing around with some redstone, and I have come up with this. It's probably not that sophisticated or that highly well designed, but I'm really happy with it. I designed this all on my own, so I'm really happy with how it's turned out. If we just get a minecart in, I'll show you what it does. it just shoots the minecart around. It's fairly simple, but what was a bit more complicated is the space that I've got. The minecart has to go up. A single slime block launcher can't punch it up that high. It can only punch it up to about there. So what I had to do is add in a second slime block launcher, but that can't be in the way. So it has to pop itself out, power itself, then draw itself back in. So now it's time to put this design into our survival world, and hopefully we can start getting villagers moved around nice and easily. Okay, so now I have implemented this redstone system into our tunnel areas downstairs. So it still wasn't super complex. It's quite big in space, but that's okay. It does what we need it to, and we've got it hidden underground. It's mostly hidden underground. We are going to have to. I think just a small, stone building would be quite cool to just put on there and cover that up. But as you can see, it is now in place. So if we just go and test it with our minecart. So imagine we've got a villager, pull him out of there, send him into there, send him back out, cure him, and then he sits there. And after he's cured, we press the button, and that sends him off down there. We'll follow it with free cam, sends the minecart along here. First slime block launcher punches him up, second one, and then third one across, and he'll go into the capsule there. It's quite a fun little system. But yeah, so now we can actually start to get some villagers cured up, and we can get our mending book, which is desperately needed because my shovel is about to go, and I don't really want to lose this. So okay, so we got our potion ready. We've got some golden apples in here. What we can do, press the first button. Brings out a villager, press the second one, push him up into there. Mine is push him down a bit lower manually. There he goes. Smacks him up. We'll press him, he's going to come around there. Then we can throw a potion of weakness and cure him. This will take about 5 minutes to cure him. So I'll bring you back after he cures. And there we go. Okay, he's vociferated, so we can send him off now. Down the tunnel, follow him with free cam, make sure he ends up where he's supposed to end up. Hopefully minecarts have the same speed when they're got someone in them or not. Okay, he took a little bit of damage on the way up, but it's fine. But yeah, he's ended up there, which is perfect. Now we just got to sit here and try and grind out a mending book, so that's fun. Aha, there we go. Okay, mending. 2 emeralds is a bit more expensive. Usually I can get them for 1 emerald, but I'm not that fussy. Okay, so the next project I want to focus on, well, apart from covering up this mess, so we'll get a small stone shack in there. But next up, we need to get a way to get emeralds reliably. And the way I like to do that usually is with a melon pumpkin farm and farmer villages. So what we're going to do next, right here, we're going to build up a little farmhouse. Okay, so now I've finished up building up our farmhouse. We've got a couple little facades out the back, which I'll get into in a moment. But yeah, this is the farmhouse. Similar sort of design to what we had with the initial building, the tavern building, using the white walls, mossy roof. It just helps it tie it together without looking too similar. Also used a different texture for the bottom. We got some dead coral bricks in there, which I think work really nicely and look a bit more cobblestoney than the texture over here, which is a bit more stone brick. But yeah, super happy with this. It's not the biggest building, but we don't need it to be. We've got a couple of floors on here, but it'll serve us well. We'll be able to fit quite a few farmer villagers in here. Not done the interior yet. We'll get onto that when we get some farmer villagers getting in. But most importantly, we've got to focus on a different project first. I'll get to that in a minute. As you see, we've got our slime block launcher ready, so this works. This shoots them up. We've got the tunnel system down below. Still want to tidy it away a little bit, but as you can see, we've got this system all set up down here, so that will work perfectly. But before we can really start getting the farmer villages going and properly working, we have got this ominous square here. We need stuff to trade with the farmer villagers, so we're going to build a melon and pumpkin farm. This is a design I always do. I kind of just put 2 next to each other, and then I've also designed a couple of houses we can put in front of it to disguise it a way that I think is going to tie in really nicely and make this city street look really cool. I have been busy building many houses. Basically what we're doing here is creating a little bit of a facade because we now have this in the middle of it. We've got a little bit of a melon and pumpkin farm, so this will produce all of the melons and pumpkins that I'm ever going to need into this chest here, but that's quite ugly, so we needed some buildings to act as a facade and hide it away. Yeah, I'm really happy with how these buildings turned out. There's a nice bit of variety, lots of different buildings, none of them look the same, but they are just a facade. Like on the inside, there's not much. So one thing I think I might do is just add in a fake interior, just like up to here, just so when you look through the windows, you don't just see this mess. So I've almost concealed this farm. The one thing I haven't done quite is the roof. We've almost filled the space up, but I've had an idea to build like a clock tower in here. So that I think will be quite nice coming up through there. But the one problem is bricks, which is what I plan to build this out of. Bricks are not quite in high supply at the moment. I have to go mine clay and then smelt it down, and it's a whole process. So what I think we're going to do instead, start building another building here. And we're going to build right here. We're going to build a very nice building, and it's going to be a stonemasons. So this is where we're going to put some stonemason villages in, and they can supply us with all the bricks. That's the next build I'm going to focus on. It's, yeah, if you hadn't realized today, it's lots of building. I do try and build other stuff, not just houses. If you've seen the 100 days video, you might disagree, but yeah, let's build another house.
Okay, so I've got a load of resources collected, and this is going to be for our stonemason building. It's going to sit right here. We've done some of the terraforming, and we've got, yeah, most of the blocks ready, except for a couple of little coppery bits. So I thought, over in our mines, I have stumbled across a trial chamber, so I figure this could be quite a nice way to get a bit of copper. So this is where we've been mining a load of cobblestone, and this is what we needed to do a lot of the pistons and dispensers for the melon and pumpkin farm, because that was quite intensive for cobblestone. What I did stumble across, though, was this. I assumed, yes, this is the trial chamber in here. Doesn't look too dangerous in this bit. So we might just, oh. Okay. Ow. Okay, nice. We got a trial key. Pop that in there. We didn't get anything good. No. Not at all. That's not why we're here. We're here for this. Okay, so hopefully that should be enough copper for the moment. Should keep us going for a little while. We're only using it to do window trims, so it's not super intensive. But yeah, I think apart from that, we need to get a little bit more scaffolding for windows, and then we are good to start building.
Okay, and that is the stonemasons finished up. I think this is a really cool build. I'm really happy with it. I think it's got a nice shape to it. I love the way it curls around here, curves around. And the tower in the middle is kind of like almost using the thirds rule, so it kind of is in third there. And yeah, I think it fits really nicely. I really like these beams here. They kind of give kind of Midwest American sort of vibe, and I think they're really cool. I have also done the inside as well. So if we come in here, as you can see, we're going to have a load of stonemasons in here. These are going to provide us with bricks and quartz and stuff like that. Not the most detailed interior. Don't look upstairs because I've not finished that up. But we've also got the tunnel linked up, so that's attached. That'll bring our villagers through, and we'll go over that in a minute. Got a nice little painting there, chair, some rocks they're working on, and some more storage for villagers. Upstairs, yeah, I've not really done it, but we've got a nice little view out over the waterfront, which is cool. Well, if you didn't have the scaffolding in the way, but the scaffolding makes good looking windows, so that's the compromise. So it's time to send over our first stonemason. So this guy is going to be the first stonemason. I've already queued him up, but we need to go activate our new rail system. So as you can see now, I've not got the sign there, but this is the stonemason. So now we've got these actually working, so they'll actually correspond. Have a little look at the very messy redstone behind here. This isn't pretty, but it's taking an output from each of the levers and sending it off and changing the rails. So if there's none of them on, it will just send them around and just do a little loop around this section, just around there. And then down there is the tunnel towards the stonemasons. So what we are going to do, we're going to flip the stonemasons lever. We're going to send off this villager. Track him using free cam. should hopefully go where we want him to go. So he comes down there, skips through the first bit, goes past the farm, and takes this right here, and goes along here, up into the stonemasons. I've not tested this bit out yet properly, so hopefully this works. Perfect. And he's going to end up going over to his little cave there, where we can start trading with him. So that's worked perfectly, which is nice. I hadn't tested that properly yet, so that's good. But the next little thing, the reason why we built up this entire building and got the stonemasons going in there, is because I want to finish putting up a tower. This will be like the last building we'll do for this episode, because it's running quite long already. This village has still got plenty more to go. I think I want to expand more down that way, have a few more houses there, and a little bit more around there. But this has been a lot of buildings we've done in one episode. So I think I'm going to make this the last bit of building, and then we're going to start playing around some paths and a little bit of decoration out the front here, including a fountain there. But firstly, let's get on to building up this tower. It has been a lot of building this episode, but I think it's worth it. We have built many houses today, and I think adding this clock tower on top really just sells it. Just adds a bit of extra height, a bit of extra shape in the silhouette of the town, and it works perfectly. The little clock on there is quite nice. Quite a big circle using the fences and trapdoors, that's quite a nice little trick. And then looks a little bit janky, the clock face up front, but further away, I think it looks really good. But yeah, that is, I think, all the buildings we can get done today. Of course, I want to add more to this town, but for the moment we've got houses for all the villagers we need, so that kind of works. But now it is important to make it actually like a town and add in some of the life and add in some of the infrastructure. So we're going to start adding in some roads, and we're going to add in a little fountain here over the old water well. Okay, so I've gathered a load of resources that we need to start applying a little bit of streets, a little bit of paths to this world. The first thing I'm going to do though is I'm going to build up this fountain. I'm going to start just laying down a little circular shape. And the cool thing about this is it's going to work nicely and fit over this little pond here, so it kind of keeps the continuity of everything going, which I think is nice. So what we're going to start with, just going to start with a couple blocks there. Let me make sure I got my silk touch pickaxe. It's quite complicated. One of the interesting things about this design is using hoppers, because it can create quite a nice little shape. Top of the hopper, another block like that, and then we'll do his arms over to the side. One of his arms will be out, you'll see why in a moment. And then we'll put some hoppers on top of that, and then his head using polished deep slate. So that's this main guy. Now it's time to start building his sword. So I'm going to start with the handle. So the gates work quite nicely as little handles, they're not too obtrusive. Little bottom bit of the sword, and then we can build the actual sword shape up using our walls, like that. All we got left to do, fill in this area with water. And there we go, that's our nice little fountain done. Quite a nice little shape, it's only small, but I think it works nicely for the vibe and kind of fits in with the size of everything else. But now it's time to start working out some paths and where we want the paths to go. And we'll also lay out a little dock, I think, on this side of the bridge. I think that could work quite nicely, have a little bit of a wooden structure to the side of the river. So yeah, let's start working on that. I don't remember quite what day we started doing this project on, but we're now up to day 275. We did the bridge, we were building that at day 100, so it's been a lot of days in progress this episode, but we've achieved some really cool stuff, and now it's, well, if you don't look around the back and the bits I haven't done, it's looking very complete now. So as you can see, we've got some paths in now. The infrastructure is kind of in place. We got the paths in, we've got this dock, we've got a little retaining wall between the dock and the paths, which I think helped. I was originally not sure what I was going to do, but I think that's actually really nice. We got some gardens out in front of a library. I was thinking about maybe a tree there, and I still might, but for the moment I'm happy with that. And yeah, we got these lampposts in, just to provide a bit of light so we don't have torch spam, and I'm really happy with how this has turned out. I think the colours of this ground work really nicely, and you kind of got the more trodden bits in the middle where it's lighter, where you've got the mud packed together a bit more. And yeah, we got some fun features like dangling lights. I haven't really continued the path up much this way, it kind of ends there. Going back around the other side, past our new statue. We've done a bit of progress around here, ignore the... nothing happened there. Yeah, we got some nice paths laid down with the lampposts, and it's starting to look a lot more complete and a lot more like a finished town, which is nice. We're not done here with this town, with this project. I still want to expand. There needs a few more buildings over here. I want to do one there possibly, and another row down there. But for the moment, for this episode, that's all we're going to fit in, I believe. This has been a really cool project to work on, and it's really nice to have our villages sorted into actual houses. I mean, I'll do a little flashback to what this looked like at the start of the episode, but we have made some massive changes today, and I'm super happy with the outcome. It's completely unrecognizable to what we started with, so that's super cool. So last episode we started doing comments of the day. This is something where I can hopefully get you guys involved and into the world, and I think it's a super cool idea. It's super fun. Today's comment was by my buddy Jacob, who put the goat emoji. So, Jacob, thank you. You've now been, unfortunately there isn't a goat emoji, but maybe I'll have to build a monument or something for you. But yeah, thank you very much for leaving a comment. If you've made it through to the video to this point, leave a comment and you can get added to the world. And with that, I'm going to sign off. Thank you very much for watching. And this has been quite a long episode with a lot of time lapses. I think there was probably too much building for one episode. Next time, we're going to focus more on some adventure stuff, less building, and not quite as long of an episode. But if you did enjoy this style of episode, let me know, and maybe I'll try and do more stuff like this. But yeah, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.